All right, and welcome to mini number 8 for forearm positioning. Ooh. So here is your forearm. All right, it is a long bone. Now remember, when we're doing x-rays, we have to take pictures of the bones and include the joint above and below. So we're going to include some of the elbow and some of the wrist. Now here is my IR, and here it is long ways. Some people will not be able to fit this way, so we need to move it long ways. Does that make sense? Now, we cannot take a forearm picture like this. This moves the elbow up high. This is why we put the entire plane of the arm straight. The shoulder needs to come down as close to possible as to the table so that we can have all the bones straight in a line so that they'll line up properly. So, let me move it where you can see it. So, if we're just laying our hand out there and we have our hand cockeyed, it's not going to line up our wrist and ulna properly, will it? We have to have the hand perfectly straight like this. We can't have it crooked this way or that way. We need to have the hand palm flat when we're doing our x-ray. All right. So what you're going to do is you're going to collimate to a little bit around, include the skin, all collimate all the way to right about here. And then I include some of the wrist. And you're going to have your central ray coming into the midpoint of the forearm. All right. And that is your AP forearm. So for lateral, this gets more fun. And this is where, I'll even turn the chair for the patients. We don't want the patients to be in an uncomfortable position having to fight to do this. It may be broken already, so we don't want to have to make this as hard as possible. But the best thing to do is I tell a patient, bring their shoulder over as close as possible onto the board. Your entire forearm needs to be on the IR. Again, if we're doing it like this and you have a big burly dude, he probably can't fit all the way on the IR. This is why we do it like this. Now, you'll see my thumb is pointing up and hand is straight. Elbow, is that at a 40-degree or a 90-degree angle? Nope. We need to have the elbow at a precisely 90-degree angle. So just look right here. If your humerus is making that same projection, line up the board with your arm. All right. Line up the bottom of this board with this bone. If those two are straight, this corner is 90 degrees. All right. So it's best to get as flat as possible. Don't make them do this jazz, but thumb up, shoot to the mid portion, the mid shaft of the radius and ulna, include the elbow, and include some of the wrist for your forearm. Prevent hand motion, make sure everything is lined up. It says for heavy muscular forearms, place support under the hand and wrist. And you'll find that sometimes muscular people can't bring their arm all the way down. So you may have to make some adjustments. So let's think about it. If I had a patient who is stuck in a certain position, I may have to bring an IR, let them relax, let them hold their arm up like this, and shoot the forearm like this. They can be laying on the bed, have them just roll out their arm, bring the bed all the way down to make the arms come flat, and shoot it like this. Bring the board up over the patient And it may be a little tricky, but you can still, depending on which way the IR wants to move, there it goes. It may be tricky, but you can still do it lying on a bed. All right, so that's the whole forearm.